Welcome back. It's Dr. Katie with Advanced Hormone Therapy, and this is myth number 2 today in our series of the 12 myths in testosterone women. Now, this particular myth definitely applies to both men and women. So, myth number 2, testosterone's primary role in women is for libido and sexual desire. Yes, it absolutely plays a huge role in that, but sexual desire and libido is such a dynamic and multifactorial process that testosterone is really only a very small part of that. Now, obviously, if our testosterone is very, very low, or we don't have the proper fluctuations or balance in our hormones, then yeah, our sexual desire is definitely going to go down. So if we get that testosterone where it is supposed to be, then becoming interested in sex and getting more excited about it and all those other physiological functions that go along with that are definitely going to be a lot easier to attain. But there's definitely lots and lots of factors in that that we're not going to get into today. But the fact is that it really doesn't play as big of a role as we think. I have some women come in and they say, my primary concern today is my lack of energy and I can't lose this belly fat, but my libido's fine and their testosterone is low. I have other people come in, they say, you know what, my energy's okay, but my libido's low and I can't lose this body fat. Well, their testosterone might actually be okay. They could definitely go up, but it's definitely not low to a point where I think it would cause their libido to be in the tank. So everyone's obviously very different on how their body responds, but I think the biggest message to take home is that when it comes to sexual function and our libido, it depends on a lot of different factors, not just testosterone. So utilizing testosterone only and specifically to treat libido really isn't the best way to approach it. It definitely is a huge part of it and should not be ignored. So if a woman comes in with specifically libido concerns, testosterone should still be checked and that should still be taken into account and they should still be treated even if they're not having other symptoms, if that's what the patient and the physician think should happen, but it is not the sole cause of it. In fact, androgens, or testosterone being an androgen receptors are found on pretty much every single tissue in our body. Our breast tissue, our endocrine tissue, so our thyroid, bone tissue, vaginal tissue. It affects our brain function. It affects a lot of other tissues in our body other than just our libido. It affects our ovaries, our other hormones, everything. Our spinal cord, and our immune system, all those things are affected by testosterone because all those tissues have androgen receptors. And so when our testosterone goes down, then those other tissues are also affected by our low testosterone levels. So in both men and women, as we get older, our testosterone naturally declines. It's expected. Now, everyone's going to decline at a different rate, and there's going to be other factors in our environment, and genetics, and health issues that are going to affect those levels. So going to a physician who can at least look at that entire picture, they may not be able to treat every specific thing, but looking at that entire picture and seeing what is the actual cause of the low testosterone. Is it just aging, or are there other factors that we need to bring that up is super important, because those other tissues are affected and those other tissues affect our androgen levels. So by bringing up our androgen levels, we can improve our bone health. We improve our breast health. In fact, there's some studies out there that show that women on proper testosterone therapy in balance with other hormones have lower rate of breast cancer. So there's likely a protective benefit from testosterone in the breast tissue. It helps improve immune function. We recover better. Our ovaries function better. I've seen women who come in who are in this perimenopausal transition. We can almost think they're kind of almost in that postmenopausal. We get their hormones balanced out, and they kind of go back into this kind of almost pre-perimenopausal period, which tells me that the ovaries are a little bit reactivated. Now they end up going through usually menopause shortly after that, but it tells me that the tissue is relying on those androgens to maintain their function in a healthy way. It helps our thyroid. I've seen a lot of individuals who come in who maybe have low thyroid symptoms, but their thyroid levels are okay, or based on I look at are maybe a little bit borderline, or the kind of the subclinical hypothyroidism, for lack of a better term. And so I rarely treat those people with thyroid medication, because when they come into me, they're generally off on their hormones, particularly testosterone. So I'll treat that first, and then we follow up. And in the vast majority of cases, unless they've got some underlying condition like Hashimoto's or something like that, a lot of times I'll see their thyroid function just naturally improve. I've seen individuals where they're on, a specific thyroid medication, maybe they've been on it for years, and then all of a sudden they start going through kind of perimenopause, or kind of that, in their 40s before they actually start going through that. And they're like, well, my thyroid medication isn't working like it did. They're having to adjust the dose. And so we'll get their hormones corrected, and then their thyroid stabilizes, or we can bring their thyroid dose back down a little bit, because that tissue, again, is affected by androgen levels. So there are so many functions in our body that are affected, that as we age, yes, our androgen levels decrease as we age, but it's affecting so many other health functions in our body. And if we allow those things to deteriorate, that's going to lead to other health issues, such as metabolic dysfunction, high blood pressure, cholesterol issues, and those sorts of things. So if we can treat the underlying part of the underlying issue and help support the body in its other functions, then we're going to lead to better health outcomes. So again, myth number 2, testosterone is primarily for sexual function and libido in women. Same thing for men. It is not just that in men either. Actually, the truth is that testosterone plays a huge role, an important role in our bodily function in general. So stay tuned next time. I'll see you next week for myth number 3, and we will pursue further the rest of this exciting journey. I look forward to hearing from you. Please send questions and comments, and check out my Instagram, AHTA Wellness. We will see you soon. Have a great weekend.